I think there's a lot because I was always a kid that was involved in a lot. I always tried to do like everything I could. Some say I spread myself out too thin, but I found a balance eventually. I think that like the top accomplishment that I have would be performing with the cast of the Crucible. I consider that pretty high up there, not just because of the way I performed, the way that the entire cast performed, and how proud I was of everybody that final night at curtain call, hearing the audience applaud us. It was one of those things where you just sit back and you're like, we did it. And hearing everybody else, and everybody else put so much work into it. And I got more joy out of the fact knowing that they did it. You know what I mean? Being like, we all together made this happen, because that's a show that you have to do right. Another one would probably be, not really an accomplishment. I think that one of the best things that I could have done for myself in high school was freshman year and even 8th grade getting involved in broadcasting. I think that that was smart because I eventually found a knack for it. I think that videography has helped me learn things about myself that I didn't know. I think that it's also helped me establish like a creative side to my personality. Anybody that knew me before knew that I was a very number cruncher like person, and I now think about it, like I'll think about it when I'm driving. Like I'd be like, wow, like I'm actually pretty creative. Like I can, you know what I mean? I've learned how to foster that, you know, creativity into projects. And then just staying focused through high school, through academics, while maintaining a job after junior year. Another thing on there that's pretty high on my list would be lettering and being a part of the district championship run for the football team sophomore year. But other than that, like just getting along with my classmates and finding my niche, I think would be the best thing that I could have done in high school to get me to where I am now and to get considered for the scholarship, and just trying to be an overall good person for the school and to give back when I could.
You mentioned you followed a lot of people in broadcasting, virtuoso, and football.
Yeah.
Were there any specific names that you wanted to be when you were an underclassman?
Yeah. It's funny because we'll talk about it. The senior class will talk about it. We'll sit and we'll have talks. I don't even think it's real. I'll be honest. Like I know how I looked up to people when I was in 8th grade, 9th grade, and I'm just like, okay, now I'm like top of the totem pole. Like, how did that happen? I don't remember how it. I can't even imagine what it's like, because I'm at that point now. I always am gonna feel like that freshman kid that's got something to look up to, because a lot of these people still come back. I think that even now I'm still growing as even a performer. We have Josh Glover coming back for Lion King. He is showing me a ton. He's doing a lot to show me how the directing standpoint is. Bringing back Dakota Meeker Deem. He is a role model in everything that I can learn, because he has fostered success in multiple areas of his life, and that's something that I've tried to learn from him. But to know that I could possibly be that for somebody, it feels good. And I know that if, you know, I can help some way to bring that feeling of observation or success to somebody else, that I have done my job. I have taken what I've learned from those people as a young kid, I've turned it into my own success, but also been able to show other people how to succeed too. And that's my ultimate goal in life. I eventually want to come back and be a teacher. So I think that taking that information and then computing it, like making sure that I know how things work and then showing it to other people, is something that I have a passion for. So I am thankful that I learned how to be somebody who can look up to a mentor, and then that helped me become a mentor for other people. Once again, another thing that I've talked about a lot with a lot of people, because if I'm anticipating having to give like a graduation speech, and I know that you have to like shout out teachers, right? I can't give enough thanks to every teacher I've had. Like every teacher has in some way done something that has progressed me as a person. Or even as early as 4th grade, and she's retired, Mrs. Molthinger. she was the person that saw something in me other than a rambunctious kid that didn't have self-control. Because that's what I was. And she saw my focus and the early components of my dedication and my work ethic, what I could do. And I can't thank her enough because she focused me. She honed me in on one thing. And then Mr. Rule, having my first male teacher, that was something. Because 5th grade, we were supposed to have Mrs. Good. We came into class and he was like, "Hey guys, I'm your substitute for the year." And we were like, "What?" He was very impactful. Mrs. Taggy is the reason I was in Virtuoso. She was like, they were doing Shrek and they were like, "Hey, we need 6th graders." And I was like, "I might be into that." And she's like, "Yeah, you definitely be into that. Do that." And she recommended my name. Mr. Clow was a coach for me. Mr. Poeth, like all these like younger teachers, and then to have teachers like Mrs. Minoski and Mrs. Hack and Mrs. Kurtz and Mrs. Heinrich all in middle school, and Mrs. Becker, all of them did one thing for me or another. And then in high school, going up through having, teachers like, Mrs. Robinson before she retired, I was thankful for that because she showed me how to be very concise with things in biology and to like clear cut. Mrs. Carpenter she's such a mentor to me in just how to be a good person in life. Mr. Minoski has become somebody that has showed me also things in life and things that in the business world. And I attribute like pulling traits from them that have rounded me out as a person. Mrs. McNear has showed me also how to just overall be a good person and to give back when you could, and I attribute learning my creativity from her. I think she's helped me find that other side of my brain. And there's so many other teachers, like Mr. Flick has showed me to like relax every once in a while. And I could go on forever. Like I could literally name every teacher I've had, and there would be something that I could say, okay, this is exactly what they gave me. And I'm so thankful for that. I can't say enough that that's the reason why I'm at today. I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've done a lot of things right. I think the biggest thing that you have to hear is like that if you're trying to start from somewhere in anything, you have to have a dedicated work ethic. There are so many nights that I'll stay up to like 2 a.m. and I'll fall asleep while listening to Khan Academy. Like it happens, and it's something you have to do if you're behind in a class. You can't ever stop. You can't. Like you have to keep going, you have to keep working. Your work ethic is the most single-handed important thing before anything else. You could be the smartest kid, or you could be the kid that struggles in every class. If you have a work ethic, you're gonna get better, and you're gonna learn how to, pick up the concepts. You have to do that, and also don't spread yourself out too thin if you can't handle it. I learned that. I ended up not playing sports eventually throughout high school. Yeah, it sucked, and yeah, I wish I really had played sports, but I had to work, and that was something that I had to do. I personally have to do. So assess what you have to do in your life at that point in time and say, okay, sports are for me, or maybe I need to work because I want to be able to drive and do all this and that.
This is the murder of Kid Marlowe!
Go talk to your teachers. That's something that I think that in education today people are afraid of. Go talk to your teachers. You can be the kid that has a conversation with them. That's okay. It's frowned upon by the rest of, high schoolers, mainly a certain demographic that are like, oh, well, you don't want to be too close to your teachers because you are viewed as like a teacher's pet. Go talk to your teachers. Establish those relationships in a small school like this, because that's what's going to help you foster success. Learning from people that have been there, that have done that. And other than that, just like find somebody that you can find in your area that's your niche and ask them questions. Like learn from them, because that's the best thing you can learn in life is how to learn and how to keep learning. Once you do that, you'll never stop, and it's addictive to want to learn more, to become more enriched in an area that you like, and you'll take off from there.
All right, well, this is my final question. Using all of what you've learned in high school, what are some of the most important things that you're going to take in the next phase of your life?
I think that as a freshman, I was a completely different person. I was still a little rambunctious. I was still a little out of focus, a little crazy, a lot of energy. And I think that with the stuff I've learned in high school, I've learned to stop and listen to other people, not to cut them off. Just because whatever somebody else has to say to you is just as important as what you have to say to them. Their time is just as important as yours. And looking at it like that, I'll take that into college, into people that I meet in the next chapter of my life. Another thing is being able to communicate too. I've never had a problem with shaking somebody's hand or looking them in the eye. And that's something that our generation's lacking right now. I think that learning that at a young age can help, establish good, first impressions on people. And my work ethic as well, that my teachers have taught me how to do. I think I'm going to take that as well. And then just being able to also at some point, if you spread yourself out too thin to find success, to be able to zone it back in and to relax. And to find time for yourself, because that's important too. So I think that those are the things that are going to help me hopefully get through college and not struggle too much. But I'm excited for the next chapter, and I'm ready for the challenges of work.
Because